Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Deputy Defense Minister, ladies and gentlemen, honorable ministers on the podium, and especially the Honorable Defense Minister of India, who spoke so kindly about Afghanistan. It's a pleasure for me to be here for the second time in this ancient, beautiful city of Moscow. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to this very important conference from a country that is suffering from multifaceted attacks. Where also, at the same time, the world is insecure and in the grips of terrorism. Just a few days ago, the United States of America dropped the world's most powerful bomb short of a nuclear weapon on my country. This was the first time that the so-called MOAB, or as also the Americans call it, the mother of all bombs, was used. The damage to people, the damage to the soil, to the environment, is perhaps not going to be known to us Afghans because we don't have the technology or the means to determine. And the American military have barred all access to the area. The official US explanation is that Daesh was targeted, that is the ISIS. But the emergence of ISIS in Afghanistan is traceable to 2015, when the US military presence was already firmly established in the name of fighting terrorism in Afghanistan. So this war has been fought at immense cost to Afghan lives and property, but those prosecuting it could not check the assertive revival of the Taliban or the mushrooming growth of Daesh in Afghanistan. And within a few days of that, the Afghan military base in Mazar-e-Sharif was attacked by the Taliban. Young Afghan soldiers were massacred. This foreign-imposed war is taking massive human toll on Afghanistan and adding to our already immense sufferings. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to record that insecurity has grown in the world, not lessened. This is a grim reminder that we must work together as agents of peace. I warn that without equilibrium and cooperation among major stakeholders, we all will suffer grievously. But if we put our heads together, we shall be able to navigate the uncertainties and fears that haunt us. The Afghanistan-Pakistan area offers us a useful illustration. This region, my region, remains in the grip of violent extremism. Matters have gone worse in recent years. This is fundamentally because cooperation among the principal powers that constitute the multipolar world has disappeared around the world, and especially in this theater of our region. Let me recall that when the United States had clarity of purpose about combating violent extremism, Russia, China, India, and Iran in our region cooperated fully with the United States on Afghanistan and combating terrorism. Although these actors were not always on the same page elsewhere in the world. Russia even supplied weapons and helicopters to Afghanistan purchased through US funds. Russia also gave supply routes to the US cargo, military cargo, and NATO's military cargo to Afghanistan when there were difficulties with routes from Pakistan. The aim of defeating terrorism was shared by all. However, today, with the prolongation of the war, extremism grew stronger and has expanded its influence. A new malignant force, the ISIS or Daesh, has also made its entry in the region, threatening Afghanistan, threatening China, threatening Russia, threatening Iran, and threatening India, and also, I must say, threatening Pakistan. Today, the consequences are before us. Sadly, cooperation has given way to competition, and suspicion of the US template has replaced earlier collaboration that was seen on the ground. Should we go into the reasons? I don't wish to. I'll just stick to the facts. The situation as it stands is taking an enormous toll of my country, where prospect of stability is being pushed back further. To win peace for Afghanistan and stability for the region, I propose the following. Any addition to use troops numbers in Afghanistan is not the way forward. It will only add to the woes of the Afghan people. More American troops means more attacks on Afghan villages in the name of fighting terrorism, while the sanctuaries of extremists and radicalism are left undisturbed. This has been the story for years. Instead, the United States should dispel the prevalent doubts and pessimism and work with the Afghan people towards a new compact, which will ensure peace and stability for Afghanistan. Such a compact may also help in restoring the vitally important cooperation that once existed between the US and major powers in our region. In order to rectify the failings of the past and reverse the threats that terrorism poses to our common security, the world's principal powers need to come together and build a new international consensus in the campaign against terrorism. No country should seek only its own absolute well-being and security at the expense of others. It will not do for any power to use extremism to advance its strategic goals. Ladies and gentlemen, I also call upon the major countries which constitute our multipolar world to convene to find ways to cooperate in fixing the rising insecurity that engulfs us and show us a vision of politics of peace and rejection of war. In our own broad region, countries like Russia, China, India, Iran, and also hopefully Pakistan need to develop ideas to deal with extremism and terrorism that keeps hurting us and our people. Ladies and gentlemen, Afghanistan has great desire to improve relations with Pakistan, but our desire can only come true when the establishment in our brotherly country stops the use of extremism as a tool of policy. And also, other than the United States, the principal powers that count in global dynamics are clustered in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and SAARC. A joint session of these forums has the potential to bring much-needed relief, including in the form of meaningful peace talks with the Taliban. Here, I once again call on the Taliban to end the bloodshed in their own country and to join the desire and the effort of the Afghan people for peace. What we must aim for is a regional mechanism with international partnerships that would once again advance a cooperative and inclusive security paradigm in Afghanistan and the region. In Afghanistan, we have our loftiest traditional forum called the Loya Jirga. You are all probably familiar with that, which is the Grand Assembly that embraces all sections of our people. The convening of this mighty assembly of the Afghan people can brook no delay. When the people have spoken, the path to finding peace and bringing together the coalition to achieve this will shine in the darkness. It is this peace that will be the guarantor to the securing of our security, stability, and sovereignty. For peace and stability in Afghanistan, it is also very pertinent to flag the value of Russia's political and economic relations with our country. By its engagement with the Taliban in support of an Afghan-owned, Afghan-led peace process, and through its support and investment in Afghanistan to strengthen our economy and help our institutions. I say this on many accounts in relation to us, Afghanistan and Russia. One, Russia, just like Afghanistan and other countries in the region, suffers from extremism. We saw the terrorist attack in St. Petersburg and the sad loss of life there. So there is a shared objective for Russia in seeking peace in Afghanistan and combating terrorism together with other countries of this region. Also, Russia has close historic and neighborly ties with Afghanistan. What affects us positively affects Russia positively. What affects us negatively affects Russia negatively. With this, I would once again thank the Ministry of Defense of Russia for inviting me to this very important gathering, to this important conference, and thank you all for listening to me, and thank you, Mr. Minister, for your gracious hospitality. Thank you very much.